The Battle of Midway, fought from June 3 to 6, 1942, was a pivotal naval battle in World War II. It was fought almost exclusively with airplanes and aircraft carriers and was a cat-and-mouse chase to find each army's aircraft carrier. The United States, combined with the Battle of Guadalcanal, ended the threat of further Japanese invasion. Midway was strategically important because it connected Pearl Harbor in Hawaii to the U.S. forces stationed in the Philippines and elsewhere. It also served as a supply line to Australia, so it was vital for shipping routes and the survival of British territories in Indochina. Despite suffering setbacks at the Battle of the Coral Sea, 1942, the Japanese continued with their plans to conquer the Midway Islands. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, the commander-in-chief of the Japanese Combined Fleet, sent out the bulk of his navy, including 4 heavy aircraft carriers, Akagi, Hiryu, Kaga, and Soryu, 2 light aircraft carriers, 2 seaplane carriers, 7 battleships, 15 cruisers, 42 destroyers, 10 submarines, and several other support and escort vessels. Yamamoto sought a decisive military engagement against the United States, knowing that their fleet was superior at the time than the U.S. fleet. The U.S. Pacific Fleet was under the command of Admiral Chester Nimitz and included 2 aircraft carriers, the Hornet and Enterprise, 8 cruisers, and 18 destroyers. U.S. intelligence broke the Japanese code, so they knew that the Japanese were coming. The plan was to wait at a rendezvous point 350 miles from Midway and catch the Japanese fleet by surprise. On June 4, the attack on Midway began. At 6 a.m., dive bombers and torpedo bombers were sighted with the Mitsubishi Zero. At 7 a.m., a quartet of B-26s did a torpedo attack on the flagship of the Japanese naval fleet, the Akagi, but they missed. Admiral Nagumo made a fateful decision that altered the course of the battle. He decided to arm the aircraft carrier planes with bombs for another bombing run at Midway. However, unbeknownst to the Japanese, the American fleet was closing in, so the aircraft should have had torpedoes for defense. The plot changed again when at 7:45 a.m., the sighting of naval units led him to order all planes without torpedoes to be armed with torpedoes. During this moment, the aircraft carriers were filled with bombs and oil in an effort to replace the bombs and refuel the planes. The decision to change the bombs again led to the aircraft carriers becoming powder kegs. At 9:20 a.m., low on fuel, instead of returning back to the Enterprise, the Dauntless continued their search of the Japanese fleet. The Dauntless spotted the Japanese destroyers Kaga, Akagi, and Soryu. In a brazen and brave tactical maneuver, the American fighters torpedoed the 3 aircraft carriers. This was one of the most pivotal moments in World War II. The Japanese losses at Midway were astonishing. They lost 4 aircraft carriers, more than 320 planes with experienced pilots, and 3,000 sailors and airmen. The victory cost the Americans 1 carrier and a destroyer. America's victory at Midway represented a change in the tide in the war in the Pacific. For the duration of the war, the Japanese would no longer be able to threaten American soil. It solidified America's intelligence programs, as they were able to decipher the Japanese code to predict that a large Japanese fleet was sailing for Midway. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, comment, or subscribe, as it would be a great help and keep you notified of new content.